Hello, yes, hi, and welcome to the Dark Knight Conspiracies, episode 87. Jericho, and the walls come tumbling down. Action's been fast and furious again, and all the fear-mongering is off the charts. Before we get into it, I thought it was interesting on Friday, Brandon was supposed to do a press conference at 4 o'clock, and he didn't come on until an hour later, 4:58. And you know me, I read between the lines. That just tells me that stuff was going on, and they had to rewrite their script for what they were going to come out with. So let's not waste any time, and let's get into tomorrow's news today. Well, on the 16th, and I thought this was interesting, and I'm just connecting dots here, Pelosi vows ironclad U.S. support for Israel despite squad opposition. Okay, the stupid squad, whatever. Here's what's interesting about this. So you got Pelosi, Adam Schiff, Barbara Lee, and Eric Swalwell go to Israel on the 16th to shore up and give promises to Israel that we are behind them. For the life of me, I can't remember, and this isn't the first time these trips have happened with Pelosi and the left. Last time I checked, foreign relations, foreign diplomacy is all supposed to be handled through the State Department. Are these people acting out on their own? What gives them the authority? Since when do congressional members go overseas and they're going to Germany and other places? Since when do they have the authority to inject themselves in foreign policy? But my whole point of this is look at the individuals. And by the way, you think this had anything to do with the Durham report that came out? Do you think these people are panicking? So let's go into this a little more. And again, I'll leave all the links to all this stuff. Let me just point out when this was posted. 1:41 p.m. on the 16th. Israel fires missiles at Syria, reports. Now this was reported on the 16th at 23:03. I don't know if time zones played a difference in these reports, but starting to see the dots here. And again, Damascus is mentioned. And this is also mentioned in the Bible about the end times where Damascus is destroyed and people won't be able to drink the poisoned waters, which signifies, some type of nuclear thing. So I thought this interesting, and again, if you don't believe that there's a media blackout in this country, that we're not allowed to see what's going on, and if it wasn't for social media, we would have no idea what's going on around the world. And supposedly there was a Russian general in Damascus when this attack occurred. My whole thing is what the hell is going on in Syria that we're not aware of? Because this has been going on for 10 years. And it's no secret, Putin needs the naval base there. And Putin is an ally of, I think his name is Assad. So why does this keep happening? What is so important there? Other than from a biblical reference. And I'll leave it at that. Now, this was put out there. Somebody posted a TikTok video, and just disclaimer, again, you got to discern. We know TikTok's owned by China, so just saying, I can't vet this, but there's this video, and they're showing. You can see what they're showing. So what the hell is going on? And you can read the article that it's already started. Okay, whatever. Again, I can't vet it. A lot of this stuff could be fake propaganda. I'm just putting it out there. So, for all you people, I'm going to put this link to this site, because this is where, for those of you that don't know how to look outside of this country for the news, this is a site. If you scroll down to the bottom, it gives you all these countries and the top news that's going on. And this is where I got the Israel article of missiles being fired at Syria. And I'll leave the link, and you can see all these different countries. These are all linked to their newspapers and their journalism. Again, discernment. So we now know they're not hiding anymore. Canada is now under a dictatorship. Now, they were supposed to have a vote on Trudeau's emergency powers, but lo and behold, they had to cancel it because the protesters surrounded the Capitol. People couldn't get in there to vote. And there's videos out there of people getting trampled by horses, and supposedly people arrested at gunpoint, people being arrested and released 20 minutes later. Who knows what the hell, again, who knows what the hell is going on over there. But I can tell you this, they're showing their cards, and if you people don't think that what's happening in Canada isn't coming here, you better buckle up, because this is a prelude. It started in Australia, it's going to Canada, and now it's coming here. So get ready, because there's going to be some bumpy roads coming down the road, and I'm seeing a lot of people, religious, spiritual, saying this is just the choice that you have to make, where you have to choose one side or the other. That there's going to be multiple events that force you for these choices. It's one thing to say, well, I know where I stand and I made my choice, but things are going to come down the road that's going to keep putting that choice up on the pedestal, and you're going to have to keep re-choosing and re-choosing to solidify your faith. Just my opinion. Again, these are opinions. These are not, I don't claim these things to be facts. You do your own research. You come to your own conclusions. That's what this show is about. To get you to have an open mind and open discussions with your fellow people. So again, what's been hyped up? The attack's imminent. Brandon said it's coming. It's coming. I mean, it's funny that in this day and age when false flags were a conspiracy and now all of a sudden they're fact. This article came out that rebels are evacuating the East Ukraine residents, and there's the Donetsk, and there's another province, Luhansk, which these are, majority of these people that live in these areas are pro-Russian, right? This is what Putin's goal is. He has never forgiven the fact that Ronald Reagan took down the old Soviet Union, and he wants to rebuild his country back. And again, I go back to, you can't blame him for what he's doing, because we had the similar thing. Let's go back to the Cuban Missile Crisis. This is no different than when Russia wanted to plant nukes in Cuba. It's the same thing with NATO and Ukraine. Putin does not want this stuff on his border, period. He's doing what he has to do to protect his country. I wish our administration would be doing this, specifically south. Now, reports are they've been loading up buses and bringing them into Russia. Now, some people have said that there is stuff that's going on, that the false flags happened, but yet, could it be that Putin's gathering intel along with other countries to show how fake this was? And it's not just going to be Putin. I have a feeling you're going to see other countries get together and say, oh, here's the evidence, and by the way, old Brandon's going to look awful stupid. Again, I'm going to say this, I've said it from the get-go, this whole thing is about taking down NATO. You got to remember, the purpose of NATO was the Cold War, and it was about keeping Russia at bay. That threat no longer exists. Russia doesn't threaten countries. Oh yeah, we play our war games. Yeah, they park subs off our coast. Again, it's all theatrics. The reason for NATO doesn't exist anymore. And I think that's what, ultimately, that this is what this is about. The Orange Man came out and told us, nobody pays their fair share. We're the ones funding this whole thing. Our taxpayer dollars are funding all this. Why? We need to start taking care of ourselves at home, just like Putin is doing. I'm not saying he's a good guy. Don't get me wrong. So now what led up to this? Well, we saw reports of a powerful gas pipeline explosion. And Brandon convinced because of this, oh, Putin's decided to invade. You know what? Putin's not taking the bait, folks. He's setting them up. You are starting to see how ridiculous all these people look, including the fake news. They've been building this up and building this up. Why? Well, I don't think they want the Durham report to get any traction. They certainly don't want the fact that excuse me, the whole jab thing's falling apart. It's all about narrative change. I keep stressing this in my videos. You gotta watch for the narrative changes. And when the narrative changes, that tells you that there's something else going on. That they have to change the narrative because the previous narrative isn't working. Or that they need to squelch a narrative that's out there. This is going to be in my opinion, what Durham's doing, again, he's going to tell a story. And I forgot to mention this in my previous video. When this story is done, there's an old saying that before you take down an enemy, you have to vilify them first. And what's going to happen as we go through this whole thing, we're going to see all these people vilified, but the coup de grace is going to be at the end game how foreign nations these people were bought and paid for by and acting on their behest. And it's called treason. No other word for it. So I think this is the story Durham's going to tell. And by the way, it's not going to be a one-week story, folks. This is going to take a lot of time to tell this story. And as it goes on, more and more people are going to get acclimated to, oh yeah, oh yeah. And then when you drop the bomb at the end, there's going to be no doubt. Just my opinion. I could be wrong. Again, this could be, as I said it, end times are playing out, and this could be the whole great deception that's going on, and everybody's involved. Both sides, white hats, black hats, deep state, good people, that this is all part of the great deception. All I can say is, ask the Lord for discernment. He'll give it to you. He'll open your eyes. He'll tell you what to do and how to prepare and what's coming. But I'm starting to believe this is all tied into the Great Deception, which is talked about. So then you got Putin and Macron to agree to hold trilateral talks. Now, the United States has always been at the forefront of NATO. Now all of a sudden you got Macron. And again, I'll just talk about Germany. Germany's not getting on board with this. They can't afford to have their gas disrupted. They've got no other energy reliance. Thanks to Brandon shutting down, we were energy independent. We could have supplied these European countries with energy. That could have been a huge leverage point. So you see how stupid this all is? Just from a gas point in this country, can anybody tell me what sense it made to shut that Keystone pipeline down? How that benefited the U.S.? Anybody? Can you tell me? All you people that 81 million people that supposedly voted for Brandon, can you tell me? Can you tell me how that was good for America? Nah. So it's going to heat up. And we'll see. Rumor was Putin wasn't going to do nothing till after the Olympics were over. Well, the Olympics are over tonight. So we'll see what happens. And this came out today. Once again, the Queen's got COVID. How many times is she going to get COVID, folks? And again, all these people, fake news, politicians. I keep saying this, they're the only ones not getting sick. You people honestly think that they took this stuff seriously? Just my thoughts. Again, if I get knocked off of this channel, you can go find me on BitChute. So the last thing I'll bring up, we're up to 30 Democrats not running in 2022. Folks, do you think these people see the writing on the wall? Maybe these are all good people that just can't deal with this anymore. There's a slaughter coming in 2022. The question is, are we going to have a vote? We're a long ways away. A lot of things can happen. We saw what happened with the pandemic, how that disrupted everything. What's next? Again, if you're looking for timelines, there's moves and counter moves. One thing offsets another and delays things. Again, I always talk about kicking the can down the road. But the can is getting kicked down the road. And we're not done. We got the State of the Union coming March 1st. And I'm thinking to myself, is this going to get delayed? Is this going to get pushed off? Because what the hell is he going to have to talk about? He can't tell. What's he going to say? How great the economy's doing? How, what's the term that they used for inflation? It's only transitory. That we're going to come out of this. What great achievements is he going to tout? Or is this going to be another ominous speech about what's planned for us? I don't know. I can't remember any State of the Union address where you didn't at least have some successes to tout. Policies that worked. They've got none. Anybody see Buttigieg lately? Where's he going to be when these convoys start next Wednesday? A lot of these people are missing in action. I just don't understand why we haven't unified yet as a country. I mean, I do understand. It's because they keep dividing us. And it's the old saying, if you tell a lie long enough, eventually you'll believe it. And that's what's been going on for quite a long time. So what are your thoughts? Love to hear your comments, feedback. I'm sure a lot of you will think I'm batshit crazy, but this is how I see things through my eyes. And that's growing up in the business industry. That was one of the great things I learned with brainstorming when you got a bunch of people in the room. As one individual, you can have all the answers, possibly. Or you think this is a great way of doing things. But when you get other people around the table, given their viewpoint, all of a sudden you realize, you know what? That's a good idea. Oh my God, I didn't even think of that. My point is, you can't think, as an individual, you can't think of everything. But when you get a bunch of people together in a room, you can think of everything. And where that has failed is our government. You get 600 people in a room, you can't get nothing done. You can't come to any conclusions other than you're smarter and you're better than us and you're going to tell us what to do. Well, that ain't going to work, folks. Again, I think we're going to have multiple decisions to make throughout these next months. And Stay strong with your convictions, because a lot of people aren't strong with their convictions. They look for acceptance for the choices that they make, and that's not how this works. I don't need acceptance for making my own personal decision. It's great if it happens, but I'm not seeking that acceptance. I believe in what I believe in, and nobody's going to change my mind. Not that I'm not open to listening. I love open debate discussions. You can't go through life without having an open mind. Again, I grew up on all the conspiracy stuff, the UFOs, the Bigfoot, all that stuff. I love entertaining that stuff. I love having conversations about that stuff. But at some point, logic kicks in. And common sense kicks in. Now, common sense is only based on the principles of what we know to exist. When you start bringing in other things that didn't exist, that expands the discussion to where you have to consider. I think they call it science. Trust the science. Well, the thing about science is it constantly changes. And what have we been experiencing these last 2 years? Right? So it's a two-way street. Again, it's those you trust the most have been the ones that let you down the most. So with that, stay strong, stay safe, stay vigilant, be prepared, hunker down, keep your faith in the Lord, and seek His discernment. Because I have a feeling we're going to need it now more than anything else. God bless everybody. Zebra 3, take us home.